"It'll get better" and "you're not alone" were two phrases that never rang true for me. For a while, I took on my mental illness as a part of identity. Like, hi, yes, I'm a sophomore. Yes, I'm left-handed. Yes, I haven't felt a worthwhile emotion in months. How am I meant to get out of this if it's a part of who I am? How do I detach myself from something that inhibited a large portion of my life? Who would I be without it? And any sort of effort at improvement felt like a threat to how deeply my mental illness affected me. It was so real to me. How could I be like the people who had the energy for life and didn't have to try? I'm nothing like them. I'm dealing with something profound. Have you ever been in the dead of winter, in sub-zero temperatures, and not believed it could possibly be hot again? The thought of a swimsuit in a few months was absurd. It felt like to me, to say that I would be warm again was to tell me I wasn't cold right then. It would always be winter for me. Just let me cuddle up and deal with it. While "it'll get better" aggravated me, phrases like "just until you're older" or "enjoy your youth while you've still got it" sent me into a spiral. I was annoyed with people telling me it could possibly get better, but I was absolutely shaken by the possibility of life getting worse. I was told that my body would decay and responsibilities would pile up, but living already felt like it was breaking me, and my body was the only thing I could control. Once my body started to betray me and life would get even harder, how would I be able to take it? How could I get better if everything else gets worse? I'm here to say that despite all the cliches, it really does get better. And yes, you are not alone, and no, that does not make your struggle and pain any less real or valid. Just continue living. Just live, and the future will prove to you it was worth it. You will get stronger, and it will be easier to feel, to communicate, and to love. I have bills to pay, and my bones and joints ache more, yet I'm happier now than I have been in a long time. Just live. That's your only job. As cliche as it sounds, if you live, you will find your own meaning in life. Don't take on the weight of trying to find your place in the world and what you contribute. Just live, and you'll stumble on it. The universe will give you strength. It will give you a chance to heal. Just stay here and wait until it does. In November of 2019, I was sexually assaulted by a family member. I felt broken, out of control, and so alone. I didn't know who to talk to or what to say. I wish it was easier to ask for help and not suffer in the pain alone. I was too afraid of what other people would say or how they would react when they figured out it was a family member. Would people think it was my fault? Am I the one who did wrong? I wasn't forceful enough with my words. I was putting all this blame on me and not thinking about what this person did to me. Since 2019, it has been a fucking battle to get control of my life back and emotions. Therapy appointment after therapy appointment, trauma work, PTSD diagnosis, anxiety, depression, medication, all these things felt like they weren't working, and all I could feel was alone and isolated. Nobody understood me. Nobody cared to listen. It's up to us today to educate more people on mental health and sit with them and tell them that they are not alone, because that, to me, is what I wish I had when I was suffering. There's going to be a time in my life where everyone will leave. I don't know when, but I just hope to be gone before they all do. I tend to be the first one to leave. Around me, I feel people judging. It kills me. I could be surrounded by all of the people in my life that care for me and want the best for me and have the best intentions, and somehow, I'm always finding an escape plan. I'm a horrible person. I don't know what I've done, but there's the potential that one day I will become my worst fears. Before I do, I will find an escape out of my body. I hope to be remembered for my art. I hope to always be surrounded by love. I hope for my parents to find peace, but for now, I just hope to be gone. I find it to be difficult to reflect back on my experiences when my mental health was at its lowest, because I feel that I'm such a different person now. I've been looking back at photos of myself when I was in that time, and I find it hard to remember what it was like to actually be that person, to exist in that state and function day to day. Maybe my brain blocked out or set aside those experiences because my day-to-day perception of life has changed so much. Right now, I'm looking at a photo I took of myself during that time, and I find it to be a little haunting. It's haunting in the sense that it's obviously me. However, I look at it as if it's a stranger. The sunken eyes, the physically obvious exhaustion, the aimless and desperate look in my expression, and the hopelessness written on my face break my heart. The person in that picture had no idea what they were doing or how they would get better. They felt paralyzed by their constant emotional solitude and their massive academic overload and the loss of pleasure in the only things that would make them happy. I have trouble connecting back to that person. They don't feel like me anymore. Ultimately, a lot of the factors that contributed to pulling me out of that hole I found myself sinking into were circumstantial and not of my own doing. Things happened to me that helped me heal and grow into a healthier mode of living. I'm still trying to get healthier nearly 2 years later, but I'm proud of how different I am now and how much progress I've made. But even still, it's scary that many of the things that jump-started that road to healing were out of my control, and things could have very well gone differently. I learned that I react to long lengths of prolonged solitude in very unhealthy ways, and when I'm not communicative and vocal about what I'm experiencing or feeling emotionally, that can exacerbate the problem. A lot of what landed me where I was functioned cyclically. I would become overwhelmed and I would isolate myself to try to resolve what I needed to get done, which compounded the stress, and I felt I didn't deserve to be around anyone, which meant I wasn't talking to anyone, which made the emotions even more difficult to manage, which led to feeling more overwhelmed, and so on and so on and so on. It was a spiral, and each emotion would compound on the last. So now I try to live my life more cautious of my emotions and in a way that honors them. I still experience those same sensations all the time. I become depressed or anxious and I'm nearly always stressed about something. But I try my best to honor and acknowledge those emotions and sensations rather than let them compound. I try to be as open as I can be with people I love and trust because I know how my mind handles the opposite. Even though my mind will tell me I don't deserve to be around other people or open with them, I try my best to convince myself the opposite and force myself to be vocal about what I'm feeling. I wish I knew at that time how much it helped me to just say things out loud in front of someone else and to let my emotions have a sense of legitimacy and space. Even though life is so hard, I want to live and fall in love with the world and experience what I can experience. I want to hold the people I love and I want to be held when I need it. I want to feel what there is to feel while I'm here and honor my life because it's mine. My anxiety has been a part of me longer than I can remember, but it was not until recently that I came to terms with the reality that I have anxiety. It was not until after I graduated from college that I realized that it was no longer hard to ignore. I would overthink interactions that happened days ago, worry about the impossible, and my mind would just constantly do backflips of worrying. One of the things I wish I could tell my younger self is that eventually it will get better. It sounds cheesy, but there were years that I ignored my anxiety. I didn't want to have anxiety because I didn't want to feel broken. My parents did their best in helping me with my anxiety as I grew up, definitely in the only ways they knew. Recently, I found my own ways that can help me cope with my day-to-day anxiety. Instead of ignoring my anxiety, I learned to acknowledge it and embrace how I'm feeling. I come from a family where mental illness is more so ignored only because of how they were brought up. I hope to change that down the line by taking the first steps of trying to treat my own anxiety. Younger me would feel at peace knowing that I'm not supposed to feel like this all the time, and we're working on our anxiety instead of ignoring it. And eventually there will be people that are there for you to listen and to help with anything you need after years of feeling alone. I'm grateful to know that I have people in my corner when I'm having bad days or are there to cheer the progress I have made along the way. I would not have been able to do it alone. Anxiety made me feel alone with worry, but younger me would be happy to know that it's not the case anymore. There's so much I wish I could tell you, but I know deep down you wouldn't listen anyway. It's painful, but there's so much you have to learn. I wish I could say the growing pains stop. I know you were hoping college would be an escape, a new start. It was partially, but you can't run forever. I've done so much work, and yet I still find myself running. You don't deserve the way people have treated you. You are worthy of love and respect, and it's not your fault that other people don't see your value. Stop fighting for people who don't value you. You do not owe anyone your time, your attention, or your body. Love doesn't equal sex. Love doesn't keep score. Love doesn't sleep with you when you're blackout drunk. Sometimes love isn't enough. There's so much work you're going to have to do to be okay. I know it's not fair, but being angry and resentful isn't going to help you. It's like drinking poison and waiting for someone else to die. You are so capable of the work, it's difficult, and healing isn't linear. There are still bad days, but I remember times it was so much worse. Medicine won't fix everything, but if you take it when you're supposed to, it can help a lot. One day you'll find doctors who understand your needs. The path is rocky, but stick it out. So many people are going to let you down. It's going to hurt so fucking bad, and I am so sorry they hurt you. I'm so sorry that you feel like no one cares. I know you think it would be easier to leave everyone. I know you think you're a burden, but I promise you're not. You have so much value. You would be so proud of how far you've come. You've helped so many people. You advocate for the needs of others and have made actual change. Despite the pushback you face on a daily basis, you get up and you never stop fighting. You are enough. You are always enough. And you never needed to prove that.